270 north, headed toward Walmarty. My affectionate term for Walmart. The way my wife used to call me, Alberti. That's how she pronounced Albert. Anyway, she's deaf, so she didn't know what she was saying really. Okay, he was trying to pronounce it correctly. All right, now, I'm thinking to myself over and over, okay, Ushiwashi Sayakamami. She really does love me, okay? And it's all true what she's been saying, and she's got experience. She's middle-aged, I think, although I don't know her age. She's probably middle-aged, not 40 years old, and she's had lots of experience with failures in relationships for lots of reasons, okay? I've diagnosed a lot of them, not knowing her or anything about her. I've just speculated, hypothesized, okay? And so she's saying like me, she's saying, I'm gonna have this the right way or not at all, okay? So I've been listening to this song that I heard many years ago, and I'm re-listening by it's like a country western type song by a woman who's, I think she's nice looking, but I don't remember now. And I don't remember her name, but I listened to this song, and some of the words in the song are, sweet sorrow is the call tomorrow. So what does that mean? It means women, I had an older sister and a younger sister, okay? Women want a man to call them. There's some kind of sexual symbolism in that, okay? They don't want to call, they want to be called, okay? And it could be girl code, something I learned about on TV many years ago. There was a program on TV, highly illuminating. There's such thing as girl code, right? There's certain things you do and you don't do when you're girls, women. And one of the reasons you don't do them is other women will get on you for breaking their code, and they will be relentless in their opposition to you. So they'll wreck your attempts to do things other than girl code requires, okay? So imagining that Bishushi Sayakamami has had lots of experience with failures, okay? She's tried everything by now, and she's even trying me, which means she says, okay, I can't have anybody at all. I'm going to choose this guy. He's on the other side of the earth. Everybody thinks he's crazy, and I like him. And I'm going to let him know in sign language while giving weather reports 7,000 miles away from him. That's how I'm going to get to meet him, okay? So, she's saying, from her experience in failed relationships, she's tried everything. She says one of the things she's noticed through girl code is, you do not call that guy, or you do not go to his house to meet him. He's got to come and get you. It doesn't matter what the excuse, you got to do that. So she's saying, like me, the way I'm looking at this, she said, I'd rather die than screw this up, okay? This is the real thing for me. It's going to happen the right way. So that could be the holdup on a relationship. Now, as I said many times, she has to know that I can't possibly find her except in ways I've already tried. It's like there's only one way left, okay? I go to her former place of work and ask for her. Now, when I did this kind of thing in 1988, I ended up charged with a crime, brought to a court, and then sent to a halfway mental prison house after a term of stay in the state mental prison for the state of Maryland, okay? As a result of my going to the place of a work of a person like her to ask to meet her. That was the result. So I am now an old man. Over 30 years have passed since that happened to me, but that was catastrophic. So she didn't know about that when she reached out to me, because that crime, here, the words come to me, I had expunged. A couple of years after I was convicted of harassing this woman, which I was not harassing, but okay, I'm not going to argue that. I was convicted. I've talked about that in many videos. It's ridiculous, okay, but anyway, the judge told me in no uncertain terms, he said, if you ever try to get in touch with that woman again, you're going straight to jail. Do you understand that? I said, yes, sir. And I went from there into the mental state prison for 5 months, and from there 2.5 years into the halfway mental prison house, and from there into a life of stigma, ostracism, and crazy uncle of my family, the nut that ended up in a virtual solitary confinement now that's gone on for over 40 years. So I've been pleading with Bishusi Sayakamami in videos like this, pleading with her, saying, Bishusi Sayakamami, please understand this is a special case, but apparently she's saying, nobody breaks this girl code, okay? So no matter what you went through, if you love me, you gotta go and find me. You gotta do that, or this doesn't happen. So now after all this time has gone by, it could be that when I've passed the point where I've spent more on this relationship, where I haven't met Bishusi Sayakamami yet, when I passed the point where the length of time in the United States in this war with Japan, that length of time has now been equaled in my attempt to begin a relationship with Bishusi Sayakamami, and that'll be in 3 days. 3 days I will have equaled the length of time the United States spent in its war with Japan. 3 years, 8 months, and a week. I will have spent that much time trying to meet Bishusi Sayakamami. I may say to myself, okay, I'm now ready to risk catastrophe again. She's worth it. I'm thinking about it, but I gotta say, let me just stop. Bye for now. Hi, Sayaka. Let you know, I found in Walmart asking AI, artificial intelligence, about this hammer to break glass in a car if you were submerged underwater. And I saw that if the windows of your car are laminated like many cars are these days, that hammer will not work to break the glass. It only works to crack the glass. That hammer, if you're underwater, no. It says online, that hammer will not work. If your windows are laminated glass, let you know. artificial intelligence says, it says that the vehicle side windows may be laminated glass, okay, which prevents occupants from being thrown out in a crash. It doesn't shatter, okay? So, for that reason, if you're going to try to use one of those hammers on that kind of glass on your side windows, it's not going to work. It says, it cannot shatter the glass, it'll just crack it. Now, I don't mean to criticize the person who made that report on Japanese television where I saw it and then immediately was going to go out and buy one of those hammers. But I got to say that this was not in the report. Now, does our car have laminated or tempered glass windows? If it has tempered glass windows, that hammer will work. If it doesn't, it won't. And it says online that it should say on your window. So let me see. It says I have tempered glass on my Subaru. So it would work on this car. Okay, so let me just say that that report does work for us. And I would imagine it works for our Ford truck as well. I'll have to check that later. That reporter who did that report is one of your best reporters. She's excellent. I like her. I don't remember her name. I don't remember the names of anybody that I've said. I've been trained in my 40 years of solitary confinement in the United States not to remember names doesn't do me any good. Okay, I get a name and that person is gone forever. When I learn the name, the person's gone forever, so I don't remember any names. And I remember the name of that reporter, but she's one of your best, okay? As you were tops, okay? She's good too. We were just checking out at Walmart and an Arab guard there watching the checkouts comes up and accuses us of not paying for some cheese we'd already paid for, so we reassured her we had paid for that cheese, okay? We came out of Walmart and what do we find? We've been overcharged for something else, so not only are we accused falsely while we're there checking out, but we find that the computer there has double charged us for one of our purchases. Now, my wife, she noticed that, I didn't, and she's back in there to get the money back. So this is the kind of life I'm in. What is it like to be falsely accused? Well, here's a simple example, okay? I said before, way back when I was in a halfway mental prison house, I was encouraged to get a handicapped Metro card, okay, which I did. It was going to mean that I could get reduced fare tickets on the Metro because I was supposed to be handicapped. So I went and got the handicap card, and it was an ID card with my picture on it and so on. And I swear to God, every time I tried to use that card, a policeman came up to me and said, "Hey, let me see some ID. You bought that ticket." And I'm going to be accosted by a policeman. Everybody's looking at me. I'm stopped where I want to go, let's say to work, and I'm being held up. And I got to fish out the ID and show him and go through all that explanation. He's going to tell me, okay, go ahead, okay? Every time I used that card, I got stopped. Virtually so many times. In fact, I was working at that mail handling store across from the fire department where a relative of mine had been chief of the fire department across the street from where I was now working as a middle-aged man doing a job that I should never have been doing, and I was doing it in an all-Arab establishment. Everybody there was an Arab from Saudi Arabia, and I'm getting lost. What was I saying? I was working there when I had that handicap card, so I wrote a letter to my congressman. Her name was Connie Morella, at the time a Republican in the Democratic stronghold of Montgomery County, okay? And she wrote back to me. She said to me, she still signed the letter, and I still have the letter. She said, "You're going to have to put up with this. They're going to ask you for it. Well, you know what I did? I stopped using that card. That's what I did. And I love Walmart, but if I'm attacked this way when I'm trying to check things out, I'm not going to come here. I'm not going to come to Walmart at all. I love Walmart, but I like that. I like to save money, but I put that thing aside and I never used it again. I gotta say, I feel embarrassed to make this addition to my footnotes on how that handicap Metro card, ID card, caused me even more trouble than that, far more trouble. I'm embarrassed to say it. I got a room to share in these apartments with these deaf kids, okay? And everybody in there was deaf, and there were two Israeli Jews in there who were deaf that I met that I liked a lot, okay? They were from Tel Aviv as well, and it was exciting for me to meet them. Now, and they were roommates, okay? Now, this was just before I entered Gallaudet University, so I was setting up living arrangements. I wanted to live with deaf roommates, right, as part of my experience, and found this room. These kids accepted me. They were 20 years old, roughly. Students at Gallaudet, all of them deaf, and I'm a young man, and I'm thinking, I want to get married, right? So I kind of was cozying up to one of the deaf women there, and I said to her, I'm handicapped myself, I said to her. She said, what do you, she said, she's sign language only, right? But she's saying, the sign language, what do you mean? Well, you're here, come on. You're not handicapped. I said, look, you don't believe I'm handicapped? Here's my handicap Metro card. And I showed it to her. She was angry. She was saying, where did you get this card? I said, I got it because I'm handicapped. That's how I got it. Did I believe I was handicapped? No, but for God's sake, I was, like I said, I tried to do what these folks told me to do. It just didn't work. Over and over again, I used the handicap card. The police was saying, sir, wait a minute. And then they would say to me, you didn't look like you were handicapped, sir. But okay, go ahead. So now this woman is angry at me for telling her that I'm handicapped. And my wife doesn't like this as usual. She wouldn't want me to sign this to her. She likes me to sit here like this. My sign for this is like this. No, I don't want to do that. So, okay, so this woman's angry at me that I've got this handicap card. Now, what happens after that? Shortly afterward, everybody in that house has a new view of me, and within days of showing that card, this one guy in there is like challenging me to a fight. He says, I'm ready now. You're ready for what? I said, well, you want to fight? So I thought, I'm leaving, okay? So I found another room with a deaf roommate, okay? And here's what happened. This is like a miracle. You need 2 miracles to become Pope. I could become Pope. Here's another miracle. I'm just kidding, of course. Now, I decided I'm leaving this place, okay? This guy's challenging me to a fight about what? I don't even know. Because I showed that handicap card, now suddenly everybody's scared as hell. They got a loony bin trip roommate in there. Okay, that's what it was like. And so I decided to leave. And so one morning, it's Sunday morning, I've arranged to live somewhere else, and I'm going to go get my stuff out of there. I had a single bed in there with the bed I slept in growing up, and that's about it, but I had my clothes and so on. So I go into this place, there's like, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's like a half a dozen deaf people in there, okay? And I guess they're all asleep. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, I go in there, I take my bed apart, and I take it out of there. And I'm going back and forth in that apartment, and everybody's asleep, and no one even sees me. I wasn't trying to hide. I wasn't trying not to make noise or not be noticed, and no one woke up or showed themselves that they were there. And I got all my stuff out of there and left. So I then called up and said, hey, I've decided to move out. All my stuff was gone. I said, I came and got my stuff. I said, I want to give you my key. And the woman says to me, this is on TTY those days, TTY Communication. She says, we had all the locks changed. They had the locks changed because of me. She said, don't come here. Now, this is how the mentally diseased are received in the deaf community. Okay? Plain and simple. Now, I don't want to go on and on, but like I said, let me stop.